Hi, everyone. This is December 26th. I introduced a first video on Fubo's valuation about a month ago. That's the end of November. At that time, I was looking at the internet and at Twitter. I found a few people talking about Fubo's valuation. They are having a price target about 50, 60, but no one talking about a 100, 200, 500. I mean, gladly, I recently I'm looking at more and more people are talking about 100, 200 target. So I think I should bring an update for this football's evaluation, especially look at this guy, Rich Greenfield, Light Shed. Who knows that? Not an investment bank, not any big firm that I'm aware of. I mean, I'm not a working inside of the Wall Street, but I'm working close to the Wall Street. So never heard of this guy and never know this firm. Definitely not the firm compared with the firm that recommended the Fubo. This is nobody. Okay. And well, I mean, we are in a democracy, right? So we allow different voices, like people have different opinions. That's fine. But some opinions are legitimate and some opinions are just BS. And let's look at this guy. I mean, this guy posted some interesting information from Antenna. Okay, sign up for market share for Fubo. That's very important because if you look at this chart the way I look at it, I mean, you need a trained eye in order to analyze this data. I mean, I'm not sure this guy knows how to analyze this data. Okay, so look at the Fubo's new subscriber market share. At the beginning of this year, Fubo has about a 7%, 4%. Like in March and April, when the pandemics hit, Fubo's sports games evaporated, and then they lost tons of subscribers, meaning their subscriber growth slows as well. But then you look at it over the summer, they rebounded. Okay, so like they are gaining market share by the middle of the summer, and then by the end of the year, look at September. It's amazing. The market share for Fubo doubled, and this trend continued and for October and November. I think this is what is amazing. Think about this: all the new subscribers growth. Fubo is getting close to 20% market share from previously 7. That's called a doubling of market share within a year. Within a year, everybody. Are you looking at this data like I'm looking at it? Look at YouTube. YouTube is losing market share from the 41% to 39% at the beginning of the year to 30%. Look at Hulu. Hulu is like flat. Market share is flat. Okay, 27%, 27%. Here is 28, 28. And who is another big loser? Sling. Sling is from 16 to 17, now to 13. Okay, and then the Philo is flat, right? I mean, Sling, Philo, and this AT&T, they are just going to be marginalized because they are not competitive. Especially Philo. I think Philo has that do not have many channels. So basically, they are competing in a different space, probably the budget space. People who want some cable TV for fun, but they cannot afford $60, $70. They can only afford $30. Okay, so let's take Sling, Philo, and the AT&T out. So Fubo has proven itself either has better quality service or better quality programming or better pricing, whichever way it is. But I think all these big three, they have similar pricing now. They have like $65 basic programming for both Hulu, YouTube, and Fubo. I don't know whether the industry agreed to that price or by coincidence. Sounds suspicious to me. But anyway, they agreed on 65 as the floor price for their basic premium subscription channel service. And the Fubo is winning the competition. That's the most important. Now, if we recall, from July, August, and September, the third quarter, Fubo gained about 170,000 subscribers over the second quarter. So if you look at October, November, and then December, I think the overall subscriber growth will be higher than the third quarter. So I think the entire industry growth may be 20 to 30% higher than the third quarter. And then the Fubo's market share is doubling. It's doubling from the third quarter, or at least growing maybe by 50%, let's say, right? Because Fubo was 9, 12, and 17. If you average them out, let's see, average them out, it's about 15%, right? So yeah, average them out is about 15%. Is that 15%? Yeah, it's 15%. So here we are reaching 30%. So so I think the subscriber growth for fourth quarter for Fubo will be much higher than the third quarter. I think we are looking at some number like 300,000. That's my estimate. Doubling, like basically close to a doubling of the third quarter growth. That's very encouraging. That's very encouraging in a competitive landscape for a small company like Fubo. That's what I see. I don't know how how Rich Greenfield see, or how other people see. That's how I see. I see all the positives, all the wind going for Fubo. Okay, so let's talk about Fubo's valuation. I gave Fubo current valuation of 470 to $590 per share. And in 5 years, I'm talking about, I think you'll double the number because I'm using a discount rate of 20%. Okay, how I get this number? Look at this chart. This chart tells you the total US cable subscriber used to be close to 90 million people, 90 million subscribers. Recent years, it's dropping fast, and this trend will accelerate. People are giving up cable TV and they're using streaming TV. Streaming TV is everywhere. It's more convenient, and it has multiple allow multiple devices and multiple users. Cable TV does not offer that convenience. Okay, so based on this chart, if we assume um, the Fubo TV can continue to gain market share eventually to 25%, because I'm seeing a trend that Fubo is very positive for the Fubo. Look at it here, from a low of 2% to 7, 9, 9, 12, 17, 18, 19. Who says Fubo cannot go 20, 21, 22, 23? With all the publicity generated by the recent stock volatility, right? The Fubo price doubled within a week and then crashed 30% by Rich Greenfield to $40 now, right? So with all this, like interest or volatility, I think Fubo is getting more and more attention. And who to say that some people may not, who have never heard of Fubo TV, now realize Fubo TV is an option, right? Previously, I only know YouTube TV, right? Because I use YouTube, I use Google. But now I find out Fubo TV, and Fubo TV, I think the offering may be better. The Hulu TV is the same story. People previously attracted by Netflix and then attracted by Disney, because Disney is competing with Netflix. And then Hulu is just part of the Disney. So for a lot of people who are used to Hulu and YouTube, they never heard of Fubo. Now Fubo, because of the stock market volatility, is gaining national interest or national attention. I think that's positive for this company. It's definitely positive for Fubo. So I think subscriber growth in December will accelerate. The market share will be higher. That's my guess. I mean, we wait for antenna data next month, right? So sometime next month in January, we will have the antenna data for January. And also, interestingly, the Fubo's management is not disclosing their fourth quarter subscriber growth. I wonder why, because in September, they disclosed it. They pre-disclosed the third quarter subscriber growth for their IPO or for post-IPO interest. And for this quarter, for some reason, Fubo didn't disclose it. I wonder whether the big clients don't want them to disclose because they haven't got enough shares, or for some other reason. I don't know. Ask Fubo's management if anybody has a chance. Let's look at the valuation again. Okay, so let's assume Fubo will eventually reach 25% market share, and then let's assume 70% of the total previous cable TV subscribers will convert into streaming TV service. Okay, so let's use the number. Let's go to the numbers. So the total cable TV subscriber previously was 90 million. Now, in 4 years, suppose 90 million, 70% of the 90 million will become streaming TV subscribers, among which 25% will go to Fubo. So then Fubo will acquire 15.75 million subscribers. And if we use $65 per month per subscriber, plus another 20% revenue from advertising, this is how much revenue each subscriber can generate. 65 times 12 months times 1.2. That's $936. And if we use 4% inflation for the next 4 years, Fubo's total revenue could reach, okay, here, $936 times 15.75 million and times 1.04 to the fourth power. So that's called inflation adjustment. So we get 17.2 billion revenue in 4 years for Fubo. And currently Netflix is trading at 10 times revenue, right? And Roku is trading at 25 times revenue. So let's say if we use 10 times revenue for Fubo, when Fubo reaches 4 years maturity, okay? Then Fubo's valuation is in 4 years is 17.2 billion times 10, 172 billion market cap. Okay, then let's get the current value for Fubo. We used 20% discount rate. 20% discount rate, so it's 172 billion divided by 1.2, 20% discount rate to the fourth power, and we get 83 billion. So that's a current valuation for Fubo, if Fubo can reach its growth potential. Now, Fubo's total outstanding shares after full conversion of preferred shares is estimated at 140 million shares. And then the Fubo's fully diluted current value per share is 83 billion divided by 140 million. We are reaching $593. Okay, so to reach this valuation, we have to get high subscriber growth rate. The number needs to be close to 500,000 to 1 million per quarter. And so in 16 quarters, Fubo should reach close to something like 50 million subscribers. So that's why you need 500,000 to 1 million a quarter. Okay. And then this valuation, the above valuation has not considered Fubo's international business, whether Fubo will expand its service to other countries, to provide to other subscribers in other countries. I think they will, because there's a lot of people who are interested in American culture, or who live overseas. Americans who are living overseas, and they may subscribe, or American business travelers, in all kinds of hotels, and they may subscribe to Fubo streaming service. And sports gaming service or sports merchandise. Okay, yeah, the Fubo said they are going to go to sports gaming and sports merchandise. That's another possibility. Sell the sports related merchandise. Advertising, basically. Yeah. Okay. So if we lower the market share for Fubo to 20%, because previously, here I'm using the projection based on this trend. I am thinking Fubo may reach 25%. Let's say Fubo eventually only reaches 20% and stay at 20%. Then all you need is to take a haircut of 20% from the Fubo's valuation. Basically, that means from 25% drop to 20%. That's 20% a haircut. And then the valuation is close to $470. Current valuation to $470 from 590. Okay, from the 590 to 470, that's 20% drop. So that's my Fubo's valuation. And if anybody disagree, you can make your own assumptions and see what number you come up with. So I mean, Fubo has a very good trend and a very good future. If anybody disagree, please leave your messages below and tell me the reason, and I can adjust my model. Everybody can have their own opinion, but tell me your assumptions. Okay, so hopefully this will help people decide whether they want to buy or sell Fubo next week on Monday. And Fubo clearly is on sale from last week's peak of 60 to Thursday's close at 41, 42. When the current value for Fubo is around 500. I mean, it's 90% discount. So very exciting opportunity. We are living in very exciting times. Okay, that's all the news. If I have any update, I will let you know later. Thank you. Bye-bye.